Discover the incredible journey of Coco. From mockery to heartwarming triumph in just 30 days. Coco was the sort of dog that made laughter burst forth from even the toughest hearts. With her scruffy fur and clumsy gait, she was a bundle of heart that stood out in every dog park. But not always for the right reasons. Living in a quaint Midwestern town, Coco had a knack for tripping over her own paws and barking at butterflies like they were ferocious beasts. Most days, she'd find herself the butt of jokes from the local kids. "Look at that silly mutt," they'd shout, their laughter ringing in her ears. The truth was Coco was trying her best, and within her unruly fur and wobbly steps lay an unbreakable spirit, eager for love and acceptance. Just as Coco was about to learn the true meaning of family, she found herself at the Martinez home. The family, dealing with their own hardships, was made up of Maria, a single mother working tirelessly as a waitress, and her two children Alex and Rosa. They were a family that knew struggle, but they also knew hope. As soon as Coco bounded into their lives, Maria's tired eyes sparkled with a hint of optimism. Was this scrappy pup a sign that things could turn around? There was a dog show just days away, with a prize that could ease their burdens. Could this scruffy mix be the key to their dreams? As Coco began her training, Alex and Rosa's excitement was palpable, but the town's mockery only grew sharper. They watched as kids pointed and laughed, echoing the same jeers they'd heard in the park. "Just look at her. She can't even sit straight." The ridicule cut deep, mirroring the family's own struggles with acceptance in a community that didn't always welcome them with open arms. Late-night conversations at the Martinez home turned heavy with doubt. Would they ever break through the walls made of judgment and prejudice? Did their worth ever go beyond what the town decided? Out of nowhere came Mr. Johnson, a retired veteran with a heart of gold. He saw something special in Coco, an earnest spirit that deserved to shine. "She's got potential," he told them one evening as they worked in their yard. "Just needs the right guidance." His belief lit a fire in the Martinez family, opening doors to lessons of resilience. "Winning isn't everything," he said with a twinkle in his eye. "It's how you face your adversities." Before they knew it, the dog show was around the corner. But just days before, Coco faced a sudden painful setback. The clumsiness that had once drawn laughter now threatened their hopes, leaving Maria, Alex, and Rosa feeling shattered as they faced the possibility of defeat. Doubts crept in like shadows, wrapping around their hearts until they felt suffocated. Yet, even amidst their despair, there was Coco, her spirit untouched, wagging her tail as if to say, "We can still fight." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the dog show approached, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Would Coco and the Martinez family rise above their fears and the weight of judgment that hung over them like a storm cloud? Or would they fade into the background, just another tale of an underdog that never quite made it? The heart of the community seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see if true worth could rise to the surface when tested in the spotlight. Coco stood at the edge of the training yard, her scruffy fur shimmering against the sunset's warm hues. The air buzzed with nerves. The impending dog show loomed just days away. Alex and Rosa crouched beside her, excitement mingling with anxiety. "Come on, Coco. We can do this." Rosa cheered, her voice bubbling with hope. But Maria, watching from the porch, felt a weight on her chest. She had seen Coco's shaky movements and the earlier flurry of laughter from their neighbors echoing in her mind. What if Coco couldn't perform? What if they put their hearts on the line and failed? Her thoughts spiraled, a tempest of fear and doubt. Suddenly, Mr. Johnson's kind voice cut through Maria's worries. "You know, every great success story comes with challenges," he reminded her gently. "Just like in life, overcoming those obstacles is what really counts." His words, like a soothing balm, nudged her heart towards the light of optimism. With renewed determination, Maria rallied the kids. They gathered around Coco, showering her with affection. Together they practiced the routine: sit, stay, and a dash of twirl that had everyone laughing at how adorable Coco looked. Every stumble she made was met with encouragement. "You're doing great," Alex shouted as Coco hopped up to follow his cue, her tail flapping like a flag of resilience. Days passed and finally the day of the dog show arrived. The sun beamed down on the park, where tents fluttered and the aroma of popcorn and cotton candy wafted through the air. It was bustling with families, laughter ringing out like chimes. Yet behind the cheers, Coco felt a tremor of unease. Would the crowd still laugh at her? Maria knelt beside Coco, gently scratching behind her ears. "Remember, sweetheart, it's not about them. It's about us and you." Her words wrapped around Coco like a warm hug. She looked into Maria's eyes, seeing unwavering love reflected back. That was enough to fill her spirit. The moment came. Coco trotted out onto the grassy stage, the crowd's eyes pinning her down. Gasps mixed with whispers began to echo, and Coco's feet stumbled as she got used to the spotlight. But then something shifted. A little girl in the front row shouted, "Look at that dog. She is so cute." Suddenly, laughter turned into applause, and Coco's heart swelled with warmth. In the midst of the performance, she performed the routine, albeit with her unique flair. She twirled when told to sit and wagged her tail as if dancing to her own rhythm. Laughter mingled with cheers as the crowd began cheering her on, not mocking but rallying behind her. As the final trick approached, Coco hesitated, her clumsiness creeping in again. Alex's heart raced. "You can do it, Coco. We believe in you." The encouragement surged through the air, and with a burst of courage, Coco executed the last move, a perfect sit and spin. The crowd erupted into cheers, and for the first time Coco beamed with pride, feeling the embrace of newfound acceptance enveloping her. She had done it. The whole Martinez family shared a look of disbelief, joy flooding every corner of their hearts. But as the applause echoed in their ears, Maria turned to see the familiar faces from the neighborhood. They stood there, expressions unreadable. Had they truly witnessed the spark of hope? As the judges prepared for the final announcement, the tension snapped back into place. The moment of truth arrived. Would they win? Would this moment of triumph change everything for Coco and the Martinezes? Or was it merely an electrifying prelude to an even bigger challenge? The judges whispered among themselves, faces serious, as the crowd buzzed with anticipation. The elation still hung in the air. But for the Martinez family, the moment stretched out like a taffy pull. A small knot of anxiety twisted in Maria's stomach as she scanned the sea of faces, searching for reassurance in the eyes of her children. "What if we don't win?" Rosa's question broke through Maria's thoughts, her expression a mix of hope and fear. The young girl's enthusiasm had been infectious, but now it flickered like a candle in the wind. "Winning is great, but it's not everything," Maria said softly, kneeling to meet Rosa's gaze. "Look at Coco. She just gave her all out there. That's what truly matters." But even as she spoke, doubt lingered in her heart. What if the competition had been too fierce? Would all their hard work be overshadowed by a shiny trophy in someone else's paws? Alex watched Coco, who had nestled into the grass, panting happily, blissfully unaware of the anxieties swirling around her. He reached out, giving her a gentle scratch behind her ears, reassured by the way she leaned into him. "You did awesome, girl," he murmured. "I'm proud of you." When the announcer's voice finally cut through the tension, it exploded like a firecracker. "And the winner of the Best in Show category goes to Coco the Cuddly." An eruption of cheers rang out, as if the crowd had been waiting for that very proclamation, and the Martinez family went wild. Maria felt her heart soar, a wave of relief and joy washing over her. She grabbed Rosa and Alex, pulling them into a tight hug as tears glistened in her eyes. Coco, however, oblivious to her newfound fame, rolled over, exposing her belly for a good scratch. Coco was surrounded by the thundering applause. It wasn't about beating the others. It was about how much love had gone into this moment. Maria realized it was the journey that counted, not just the end result. A small boy approached them, a bright smile on his face. "Can I pet her?" he asked, eyes wide with excitement. "Of course. She loves meeting new friends," Alex replied, stepping back so the boy could kneel beside Coco. As the boy gently stroked Coco's fur, Maria noticed Mr. Johnson approaching. His smile was warm as ever. "You did wonderfully. I knew you all could do it," he said, pride glimmering in his eyes. But then, glancing at the boy and his mom behind them, Thought crept back into Maria's mind. Had the laughter and ridicule really disappeared? Or was this just a moment that would evaporate in the light of tomorrow? They had one yes, but would the neighborhood embrace Coco for who she was, a unique, quirky dog with a spirit of her own? In the midst of their celebration, her chest still fluttered with unease. And just as they posed for a photo, a shadow loomed from across the park. It was the group of neighbors who had looked on during the performance. Their faces, now serious again, gathered around, their intentions unclear as laughter faded into murmurs. Maria's heart started to race once more. What would they say? Would they accept Coco? "Mom," Rosa whispered, tugging on Maria's shirt. "What if they don't like Coco?" Maria knelt down once more, cupping Rosa's face in her hands. "No matter what happens, we know Coco's special. And that's worth fighting for." The crowd thinned as the judges moved away, and Maria sensed a decisive moment looming. This was far from over. As the neighbors approached, her breath caught in her throat. Would this be a lesson in acceptance or another slap of rejection? What would they decide? Would this moment turn out to be a new beginning for Coco and her family? Or would the past shadows return? The neighbors closed in, the air shifting from the joyful moments to something anxious. Maria straightened up, trying to mask the storm of emotions brewing inside her. She felt Rosa's small hand tighten around hers. "Don't worry, sweetie," Maria said, stealing a glance at Mr. Johnson, who was watching with an encouraging smile. Coco rolled playfully in the grass, completely unaware of the tension surrounding her. Maria tried to draw strength from her daughter's innocent excitement, but the approaching group made her heart race. "Hey," one of the neighbors, Mrs. Ramirez, called out. Her voice was uncertain but not unkind. "We wanted to say congratulations. And to talk a bit." The word talk hung in the air like a cloud, darkening the sunny day. What did they want to discuss? Maria's hands tightened around Rosa's, but she forced a smile. "Thank you. We appreciate it," Maria replied. She wanted to convey warmth, but worry gnawed at her like a pesky fly. Mrs. Ramirez exchanged glances with the others. "We were surprised by Coco's performance. She really is unique," she said, pausing as if searching for the right words. Alex instinctively stepped closer, a protective instinct flaring up in him. "She's special," he stated firmly. "Just because she looks different doesn't make her less amazing." The collective breath held in the crowd seemed to waver. Mrs. Ramirez shifted slightly, as if Alex's words had struck a chord. The tension in Maria's chest loosened just a little. "I guess what we're trying to say," another neighbor, Mr. Jones, interjected, "is that we didn't understand Coco at first. But seeing her today, she really brought the crowd to life." He chuckled lightly. "She's a real character." Maria noticed a ripple of nods among the neighbors. They were warming up, and the air felt lighter. Maybe, just maybe, this could turn into something good. Rosa's eagerness pierced through the heaviness. "Can we have a meet and greet? Coco loves making new friends," she chirped, her eyes sparkling with hope, her innocence radiating like a beacon at Mrs. Ramirez's serious expression cracked into a smile. "I think that's a wonderful idea. Let us make it happen." As laughter replaced the earlier tension, Maria felt the weight lift. Perhaps this was the turning point they needed. She joined in the laughter, feeling newfound hope swell inside her. The neighbors began moving closer, a circle forming around Coco and the kids. "Coco, come here," Alex called, clapping his hands to get her attention. The dog leaped up and bounded toward him, tail wagging like a flag of victory. "It's amazing how she brings everyone together," Mr. Johnson said, grinning as he crouched down to pet Coco, who eagerly licked his hand. The connection between Coco and those around her turned this moment into something bigger than any trophy. But then Maria caught a glimpse of movement at the edge of the park. A figure lingered in the distance, a familiar silhouette that sent tremors through her. It was Lily, her former best friend, now standing alone with crossed arms, watching the scene unfold with a look of disbelief. "Mom, who's that?" Rosa asked, pointing subtly. Maria's heart sank, the nostalgia tugging her mind. "I think that's just someone who took some time to see the beauty in Coco," Maria said, torn between wanting to shield her family and feeling a flicker of hope. Could this possibly turn into another acceptance story? As Lily finally took a step closer, Maria's pulse quickened. Would she embrace them or cast doubt over their victory? Their eyes met, and 1,000 unsaid memories floated between them. What would happen next? Would love conquer the past? Or would old wounds reopen? Lily stood there, her expression shifting from uncertainty to something deeper, curiosity, perhaps? Maria's heart raced. She hadn't seen Lily in years, not since a misunderstanding had driven them apart. It was as if some invisible thread connected them once again, tugging at Maria's soul. Mom Rosa's voice broke through the whirlwind of Maria's thoughts. Is she coming over? Maria nodded, but her throat felt tight. Let us just see what she has to say. Lily took hesitant steps forward. The crowd shifted slightly, making room for this unexpected visitor. Traces of the girl Maria used to know flickered across Lily's face, but there was a harshness now, a reality that had changed them both. Hey, Lily finally said, her voice shaky but steady. I just wanted to, see Coco. She really did light up the park. A collective murmur of surprise went through the neighbors. Maria's chest tightened again. This wasn't just about Coco, it felt much bigger. People were looking, and Maria could feel their eyes. I'm glad to see you, Lily, Maria said, taking a step forward. Her voice was softer than she meant it to be, but warmth spread through her. Lily nodded, but her gaze shifted to Rosa, who was bouncing with excitement. She's grown, Lily observed, her tone a mix of admiration and hesitance. She's an amazing kid, Alex said, joining Maria's side and offering Lily a friendly smile. Coco has brought so much joy to our family. For a moment the air grew thick with unshared words, old feelings and the past weighing heavily on both women. Coco ran back to Rosa, tongue lolling happily, totally unaware of the history spiraling above her little head. Do you want to meet her? Maria finally dared to ask, feeling her heartbeat in her throat. Lily's hesitation hung heavily between them, thickening the air with an old ache. I don't know, Lily replied, lingering uncertainty in her voice. I'm not sure if I deserve to after everything. Deserve? Maria interjected gently, willing her voice to be kind, not confrontational. You don't have to carry that weight anymore. We've all changed, you know? This is a fresh start. Lily's eyes shimmered, the hardness in her expression beginning to melt. I wanted to say that I'm sorry. For how I treated you, for how I reacted. I just didn't understand there was a vulnerability there that Maria hadn't expected. The crowd slid into an awkward silence, some exchanging confused glances, others nodding in support. Sometimes it takes time to understand, Mr. Johnson spoke up. We all have different paths, but it's how we come together that counts. Rosa, picking up on the tension, chimed in with an innocent smile. You can pet Coco. She loves being loved. With those words the invisible wall cracked a little more. A small smile crept onto Lily's face, tentative yet hopeful. Maria took a step forward, careful but eager. Why don't you come a little closer? Maria encouraged, reaching out her hand. The gesture felt risky, but it was important. Lily glanced at the small crowd, each face holding a mixture of curiosity and encouragement. Then, as if summoning strength from everyone around, she took a step towards Coco, who greeted her with an excited bark and a wagging tail. Hey girl, Lily said, kneeling down. As Coco approached, Lily's hand very gently touched the dog's fur, and a smile broke free, the kind that shattered years of silence. As laughter began to ripple through the group again. Maria felt light, like something had shifted. For the first time in many years, hope bubbled up inside her, pushing away worry. But just then, a sudden commotion caught their attention. An anxious shout erupted from the other side of the park. Maria turned, heart pounding. What was happening now? Her hand instinctively gripped Rosa's, and she realized that the day might be unpredictable after all. Would they face another challenge together? Or was there more healing to uncover? Maria's heart raced as she turned towards the noise. The jubilant laughter dissipated, replaced by a heavy tension that draped over the park like a dark cloud. She tightened her grip on Rosa's hand, feeling the little girl's pulse quicken next to her. Rosa's eyes widened, and Maria knelt down to meet her gaze, trying to instill some calm. Stay close, okay? I need you to be brave. Rosa nodded, but Maria could see the uncertainty mingling with excitement. The source of the chaos came into view. A group of kids had gathered, their faces etched with concern. Maria could make out one of her neighbor's boys, Tyler, gesturing wildly. He was pointing towards the far end of the park where flowers bloomed brightly, but an unsettling sight marred the beauty. With a quick glance at Lily, who was still kneeling beside Coco, her eyes flicking between Maria and the disturbance, Maria took a deep breath and moved forward, pulling Rosa along. "What happened?" Maria called out as they approached the group. The kids turned towards her, their expressions shifting from fearful to relieved at her presence. "There's a dog!" someone shouted, their voice trembling. "He looks hurt." Maria's heart sank. Another dog? The last thing they needed was another stray, especially one that might be in pain. She swept the crowd with her eyes, seeking answers. "Where?" she asked urgently. Tyler pointed again, this time more specifically. "Behind the bushes near the swings." Lily rose cautiously, her brows narrowing in concern. "I'll come with you, Maria." Without waiting for a response, Lily took a few steps ahead, the energy shifting into something more serious. Maria followed, her instincts pushing her forward, the weight of the past temporarily forgotten. As they approached, she could see a small, frantic figure struggling to move, its fur matted and filthy. "Oh no," Maria breathed, her heart aching. Someone must have abandoned him. The little dog whined, its eyes wide with fear, and Maria instinctively knelt down. "Hey there, buddy. It's okay. We're here to help." Lily mirrored her actions, crouching beside her. "Can you reach out to him? He might be scared." Maria felt the warmth of encouragement swell in her. She slowly extended her hand. After a moment of hesitation, the dog approached cautiously, its nose quivering as it caught their scent. "There you go," Maria whispered soothingly. "You're safe now. We won't hurt you." As she gently brushed her fingers through the dog's fur, she felt him relax slightly, leaning into the touch. The other kids watched with hungry eyes, absorbing every second of tender connection. Rosa inched closer, her voice a soft whisper. "Can we take him home, Mom?" Maria's gaze darted to Lily, whose expression was unreadable. Maria felt an urge to say yes right away, but the responsibility weighed heavily on her. "Let us see if he has a chip first," Lily suggested, glancing at Maria. "He might already have someone looking for him." Before she could answer, the crowd swelled with murmurs of approval and sympathy. Everyone seemed to rally behind them, united by the same hope once again. Something beautiful was stirring within the community. "I'll make sure he is taken care of," Maria said quietly, rediscovering the flicker of courage that had dimmed in her heart. She had moved forward in the face of uncertainty before, and now felt that same longing to extend a bridge with determination bubbling inside her. She turned back to Lily. "Together?" Lily nodded, their eyes locking with a new understanding. But just as a lightness began to fill the space between them, someone shouted from the other side of the swing set. "Wait! You don't know where he came from." Maria's heart plummeted. Was there danger hiding in the shadows? She looked back at the crowd, her resolve faltering with that question hanging heavily in the air. Would this venture turn into another crisis instead of a savior's story? Maria's pulse thundered in her ears as the uncertainty of the situation edged closer. She quickly scanned the faces in the crowd, each one reflecting a mix of intrigue and fear. The call from the other side of the playground felt like a thunderclap. It stilled the air around them, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. "What do you mean we don't know where he came from?" Tyler called back, his youthful bravado faltering. The voice emerged from a tall boy, Jesse, who stepped forward, hands shoved deep into his pockets. "What if he ran away from a bad owner? He could be dangerous." His eyes darted to the little dog, which still cowered beneath Maria's gentle touch. Maria frowned. That was a real fear, one she hadn't considered. What if the little dog had been mistreated? She felt a stab of protectiveness at the thought. "We have to at least check if he is okay," she insisted, raising her voice slightly to rally the group. "If he needs help, we can't just leave him." Lily stepped in, her voice steady. "Let us not make assumptions. He is scared, and if we approach him with kindness, he might respond." Some of the kids murmured their doubts, but there was a ripple of agreement, a current of shared compassion that flowed through them. Maria suddenly felt a spark of unity in their community, the kind of strength that comes when everyone comes together for a common goal. "Rosa, stay close," she directed softly, not taking her eyes off the dog. Rosa nodded, her small hand tightening around Maria's. The little girl's innocent determination made Maria swell with pride. She brushed her fingers through the dog's fur again, whispering words of comfort. You're not alone anymore. We'll figure this out together. Tyler spoke again, bridging the gap that Jessie had created. I can check for a collar. Maybe there's a tag. He hurried over, eyes brightening with purpose. Good idea. Maria encouraged, grateful for the energy shifting back to hope. Meanwhile, Lily crouched lower, moving carefully towards the dog. A good cop in this heavy scene. Let us be gentle, she reminded, extending her hand. Can we see your collar, little friend? As the dog shifted slightly, a silver glint caught Maria's eye. There. He has a tag, she exclaimed. The crowd gasped, anticipation hanging like the morning mist. The dog, being coaxed with cautious movements, finally revealed a soft blue collar adorned with a worn but present tag. Tyler gingerly took hold of it as Maria's heart raced anew. Rosa leaned closer, her eyes wide. What does it say? Tyler squinted at the letters, his expression shifting as he slowly read out loud. Coco and their ESA number. The air shifted again, transforming their atmosphere from charged uncertainty to a dripping hopefulness. We might be able to find his family, Rosa squeaked, excitement igniting her. But just then Jessie interrupted with a frown. Or what if they're the ones who hurt him? Paws hung in the air. Would they open a can of worms? Maria felt a wash of panic sweep over her. Then Lily took a breath, holding Jessie's gaze. If we find them and they're good people, Coco can go back home, she posited gently. But if not, then we can help him escape. We won't let him be hurt again. Her unwavering voice cut through the tension. Maria marveled at Lily's calmness. It filled her with a renewed sense of clarity. Together we'll do the right thing, she promised, meeting the eyes of the other kids as they nodded. United in purpose. As the crowd whispered plans to each other, Maria felt a wave of warmth wash over her. This felt like something significant, a small movement that could change more than just Coco's fate. But just as she began to embrace the budding hope, a familiar figure loomed on the edge of the park, a shadow that twisted her heart again. Maria, what are you doing? She called, tension wrapping around the words like a vice. The ground seemed to shift beneath her feet. Would this new arrival shatter everything they were building? What could that confrontation mean for Coco, for Rosa, and for Maria herself? Maria's heart sank as she recognized the voice. It was her older brother Sam, striding towards them with a frown carved deep into his brow. The playful camaraderie of the group melted away, leaving the air thick with unspoken questions and dread. He had that look, the one that always made her feel small, like a child caught stealing cookies from the jar. Sam, wait. It's just Maria began, trying to defend the little dog who had snuggled deeper against her leg, as if sensing the shift in energy. A stray, Maria? Come on. You should know better. That dog could have rabies. Sam rushed the last words out like bullets, eyes narrowing. But what if he doesn't? Maria countered, anger bubbling up inside her. He might have run away or been lost. We can't just ignore him. The crowd tensed again, floating glances of uncertainty, as if any moment could spiral into chaos. Sam's presence felt like a heavy blanket draped over their small victory. You think you're some kind of dog hero now? Jessie's voice slashed through the air. A few of the kids murmured in agreement, unsure whether to support Maria or toe the line with Sam's logic. In that moment Maria felt isolated, nudged out of the collective safety she felt just moments ago. But then Rosa squeezed her hand tighter, a beacon against the tide of doubt. Coco is nice, she whispered fiercely, her innocence fortifying Maria's resolve. Maria knelt down beside the dog, looking at Sam directly. Please just let us help him. We can figure it out together. Her heart was pounding not just for Coco, but for a chance to stand firm. Look, Sam sighed, his expression softening just a little. I get that you want to help, but you have to think about the risks. What if something happens? And what about Mom? She'll freak out if she finds out you brought a random dog home. The mention of their mom sparked a familiar anxiety for Maria. Sam was right. Their mom had always been protective, especially after the incident with the neighbor's cat last summer. But this was different. This was Coco, a scared little soul who needed them. And suddenly, the weight of her brother's concerns jolted her to focus on the dog again. Then let's just check the number on the tag. Tyler interrupted, his voice a bright note in the gloomy air. Maybe he has a family who wants him back. We can't know unless we try. Sam hesitated, glancing back at the concerned faces in the crowd. But behind Maria's defiance, his resolve began to crack. Fine. But if things go sideways, we're bringing him to the shelter, okay? The tension lifted slightly as the kids shared relieved looks. Deal. Maria shot back, a wave of gratitude washing over her. They weren't just rescuing Coco anymore. They were creating something bigger together. As Tyler dialed the number on the faded tag, the world felt suspended in time. Maria clutched Coco's collar, the pulse of the crowd swimming around her like an orchestra tuning up for the first note. What if nobody answers? Rosa asked, her small voice carrying a hint of worry. Then we keep going, Lily replied, an edge of confidence lacing her words. We'll find a way to make it right. Just then, as Tyler waited on hold, tension spiraled back into the atmosphere. A distant figure loomed behind Sam, one Maria hadn't noticed until now. The man's hurried steps grew louder, and a flicker of recognition filled her with dread. Oh no, please tell me he isn't. Maria started, her voice trailing off as the man drew closer. As all eyes turned, the worried expressions morphed into panic. Maria felt the ground shift under her once more. Who was he, and did he know about Coco? That's my dog, the man shouted, eyes blazing with intensity that dripped with authority. A mix of fear and urgency filled the air. There was no turning back now. Would they stand together, united for Coco, or would fear drive them apart? Maria's pulse raced as the man's words echoed, piercing through the thick tension like a hot knife. He looked furious, and her heart twisted in her chest. Sam shifted uneasily beside her, his frown deepening. Wait! Maria shouted, desperation clawing at her throat. Are you really his owner? The man's expression flickered for just a moment, revealing a glimpse of uncertainty beneath the anger. Yes, that's Coco. I've been looking everywhere for him. Rosa took a step back, her grip loosening, uncertainty clouding her bright eyes. But he was lost, she murmured, her small voice barely audible against the murmurs of the crowd. Can you prove it? Sam challenged, his tone stern yet protective of Maria and their small group. Maria held her breath, her heart caught between anxiety and hope. The man's jaw tightened. I have his papers. Please, I just want my dog back. Is Coco really yours? Tyler asked, a tentative hand still clutching the dog's collar. Maria glanced down at Coco, whose eyes darted from her to the man, as if sensing the turmoil in the air. Their essay tag. Look at it. Maria pointed, her voice cracking slightly. It has a number. We called it to find out if he had a family. Her words felt like a lifeline in the growing storm. Yes. I locked him up at home and thought he'd escaped. I swear I just wanted him to be safe. The man's voice trembled, revealing a hint of sincerity that Maria couldn't quite shake off, but doubt crept back in. What if he really neglected Coco? Her worry twisted in her gut, and she couldn't ignore the fleeting sadness she felt for the little dog. Okay, but what if you're not who you say you are? Lily chimed in, a note of challenge in her tone. Courage ignited in Maria as the kids shared determined looks. Yeah. How do we know you will take care of him? Jesse added, crossing his arms defiantly. The man's eyes flared. You think you can just keep him? He doesn't belong to you. You don't know anything about him. Maria felt a sharp surge of protectiveness for Coco. You're right. We don't know. But we care. He matters to us. You can't just take him without proving you're responsible. Suddenly, the man faltered, confusion shadowing his features. He glanced at the kids, collective courage evident in their faces. I just want him back, he uttered, vulnerability creeping in. For a moment there was silence, a hesitant pause filled only with the sound of Coco's low whimper. Maria knelt, looking deep into the dog's eyes. There was a bond forming, fragile yet undeniable. Coco deserves to feel safe, whether with you or here, Maria said softly, her voice steady. If you are his owner, show us you care. If you don't, then we'll find another way. As the man's gaze dropped, a glimmer of something shifted in the air. A chance for understanding, a moment for growth. But just then the distant sound of sirens began to weave through the silence, drawing closer with each heartbeat. Coco's fate hangs in the balance, Maria thought, her mind racing. Would they find the answers they needed before help arrived? The moment of truth was closer than ever, but hope flickered still. Would they reach a resolution? Or would fear and misunderstanding push them apart? With all eyes on her, Maria took a deep breath. What would she choose to say next? As the sirens blared closer, dread and uncertainty hung heavy in the air. Maria could feel her heart racing, and the sense of urgency ignited her resolve. She had a choice to make, one that could define Coco's future, and perhaps even her own relationship with this hostile stranger. Listen, she began, her voice steady despite the chaos. Coco deserves to be safe and loved. We need to understand each other. We can't let fear decide this. Around her, those gathered watched with an intensity that made her feel both small and empowered. The man's fury seemed to waver at her words, uncertainty etching a deep line across his brows. I didn't mean to scare anyone, he said, his tone softening, gaps of vulnerability appearing where anger once thrived. I thought I lost him for good. Lily stepped forward, taking charge of the moment. If you truly care about him, tell us about him. What is he like? At that, the man faltered, caught off guard. He loves belly rubs and treats, he stumbled, a shard of warmth breaking through. And he gets scared when it storms. Others began to murmur, their frowns softening a bit as they absorbed his sincerity. Maria seized this moment, stepping closer to Coco and the stranger. If you want him back, show us. Is there a vet we can call? Prove to us that you have his best interest at heart. A flicker of determination crossed the man's face. I can. I have the vet's card in my wallet. But the doubt lingered still, the parts of him battling against the vulnerability exposed. The sirens blared into focus, and as they approached, Maria felt the weight of many sets of eyes upon her. The tension simmered, the decision before her ready to ignite the air into a full-blown eruption. But just then Rosa's small voice rang out like a light. You scared him. She piped up, her innocent honesty capturing everyone's attention. He just wants to go home. That simple truth settled over the park like a soft blanket, comforting and unifying. The man's expression softened further, his proud facade seeming to crack. You're right, he nodded, shame weaving through his apology. I got scared. Coco is my responsibility. I promised to take care of him. As the sirens drew ever closer, Maria sensed a shift among the crowd. The faces around her began to soften into a chorus of understanding. Even Sam, silent until now, stepped forward beside her, offering a look of guarded support. Let us give him a chance, he said, his voice filled with cautious optimism. Fine, Jesse chimed in, crossing his arms, but the fierce defiance had turned to cautious hope. We'll help you make sure he is okay. All eyes turned to Maria, the de facto leader holding the fragile moment. She could feel the echoes of past pain, but also the promise of something new. Let us call the vet and get this sorted, she decided, her voice firm and unwavering. As Tyler fished for his phone and dialed, the collective breath of the crowd relaxed a fraction. The tension hadn't completely dissolved, but understanding was dawning. The man pulled out his wallet, showing them a small vaccination card. See? Yes, mine. I let him down again. Moments felt like hours as Tyler spoke to the vet's office, validating every word the man had said. Maria knew they were teetering on the edge of something big, a path toward collaboration instead of conflict, toward healing rather than anger. Finally, Tyler hung up, relief igniting the murmurs. They confirmed he's registered to you, he said to the stranger. Suddenly, the air thick with unease started to thin out, as if everyone had been waiting for approval to breathe again. Rosa beamed up at the man, a smile bright enough to chase away clouds. That's awesome. Can we still be friends? Her innocence lit the atmosphere, catching the man off guard. Yes, little one, he replied, his voice breaking only slightly, emotion threading through. If you'll let me, I'll be better. Quiet applause began to ripple through the crowd, echoing their tentative acceptance. In that moment, the children who had once stood apart now moved closer, united by the collective effort to champion a dog that meant so much more than a stray. Coco stood proudly, tail wagging as she sensed her family in her new community, somehow stronger now, radiant with love. Let us walk him home together, Maria suggested, and the group began to move, and with that simple act, they all took a step forward toward healing, understanding, and the promise of something brighter. As they walked, laughter began to bubble through the crowd, and for the Martinez family, the burden of the past felt lighter, the shadows chased away by the warmth of acceptance. This could be the start of something wonderful. New friendships, new revelations, and a commitment to love and understanding. And beneath the sunlit sky, Coco, once a silhouette of insecurity, now trotted proudly among her new family, each wag of her tail echoing the message of hope, healing, and belonging. This was their moment, their wonderful beginning. Now that you've experienced this incredible transformation, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss any more exclusive stories like Coco's. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for these heartwarming tales. Comment down below what you felt during this journey and how Coco changed your heart. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring transformation. Spread the love and keep the good vibes flowing.